Hello friends, welcome back to Digitalk. So in this session, I am going to cover the Ansible architecture. Okay, along with that, the core components of the Ansible, and then the flow. Okay, so if you are a beginner of the Ansible, and this session is going definitely helpful for you. Okay, so let us begin with the Ansible architecture. So the introduction of the Ansible, I have posted one session few days back. Okay, what is the Ansible? So Ansible is just an automation tool. Okay, and this automation tool we use for multi-purpose, specifically in the infrastructure. And what is the specific use? Okay, so I would divide in two categories. One is for installation and configuration of software. Second is it also act as a IaaC, that means infra as a code, right? That means Ansible is we can use for provisioning of the infrastructure. Along with that, we can install the software and do the configuration as well using the Ansible, right? So it is an end-to-end tool. With the help of that, you can do the complete automation of your infrastructure setup. Okay, for example, you may need to create 4 virtual machine on the AWS EC2 cloud, or maybe on any of the cloud. Okay, like Azure, Google Cloud, IBM Cloud. Okay, and also that you need to install some software, like you may need to install the JDK, then you need to install some application servers, you need to install some web servers, right? You may need to deploy your code, right? So everything we can automate with the help of Ansibles, right? So this is the just basic introduction of Ansible. Okay, why we use the Ansible. Now second, when we talk about the architecture, okay, so it's a very straightforward architecture. Okay, is based on the master and agent architecture. Master and agent. Okay, now what does it mean, master and agent? It's very simple. One node. So when I say node, I am referring, it could be a virtual machine, it could be a physical server. Okay, or you can also refer as a machine. So one node or one machine, okay, act as a control node, which is called the control node. Okay, and this is the main machine where we do the complete setup of the Ansible. Okay, so that means whatever the automation we define in the Ansible, and whenever we execute the automation, we execute it from the control node. This is the central location, okay, where we do the end-to-end setup of your Ansible. Setup is again very small. Installation of Ansible, it is an open source tool which is developed in the Python. So the one of the prerequisite, you need to install the Python. Okay, so installation of Python, and along with that installation of the Ansible. Okay, this is just a couple of minutes of work. It's not going to take more than that. It's a very small software, right? So this is our control node where, as I said, we define all the scripts. You can say scripts, automations. Okay, and when we execute the automation from here, it reach to the managed node. Suppose we have 4 managed node. 1, 2, 3, 4. That means these could be virtual machine or maybe physical server or anything, right? Now these are called the managed node, or also you can refer them as a target node. Okay, so target node or the managed node are the machines or the VMs where we need to execute the automation. Specifically, if we are installing the software, we are doing certain kind of a configurations. Okay, so here we have defined the 4 VM. That means we have 4 virtual machines or 4 physical servers are running in our environment. Okay, and there we may need to install some software, we may need to modify some configurations. So for that, we do the automation in the Ansible, and all the automations and scripts we define in the control node. Okay, and from there we execute the complete automation, and the automation that we execute, it is referred as playbook in the Ansible. So playbook contain the set of information, or you can say the set of instructions that we execute. And what are the instruction is simply our automation, whatever the automation we have done. Okay, so let me give some example of that one. So what we are doing with the help of Ansible, we are doing a small automation, right? So when we are saying automation, so that means we are executing certain kind of a task, right? So for example, let me give an example. We need an automation, okay, where we have 4 machines in our environment, right? We need JDK or the Java need to be installed there. After that, we need to install some application server, right? And then we need to start the services. This is the one example. Second example, you can take of the web server. Okay, we need to copy web server software. We need to extract it, or you can say we need to install it, right? And then we need to start the services. Or this is a website in the web server, so there could be that we need to copy our website code as well. Or maybe if your web server is already running there, you may need certain kind of a config changes in your web server, right? So these are the certain small tasks that I'm talking about. So just give you an overview when we say about we are doing a certain kind of a automation, right? So why we are doing the automation, what kind of a automation we are doing, okay? And the machines, okay, target machines are referred as the managed node where we need to execute the automation, right? So let me come back to the architecture again, okay? So we have seen in the simple in the Ansible architecture, we have a control node where we have the Ansible setup, okay, and our task is we have a 4 managed node. Our task is to first when we run the playbook from here, right? We have learned what is playbook. This is the set of instructions or the automation that we create. We run the playbook here. We have a command for running the playbook. Okay, so first we need to check if all the 4 nodes are available or not. We need to ping all 4 hosts if the hosts are available or not, right? And then we need to install web server. Then we need to start the services, and then we need a certain kind of a validations if everything fine or not. This is our simple task. So when we run the playbook from the control node, it reach to each and every managed node with the help of SSH. Okay. So for that, we set up the passwordless login between your control node and each managed node. Okay, so that it can contact your managed node. So the control node can contact your managed node easily without any password. So it assesses and reads to each and every managed node, and whatever the logic that we have defined in our playbooks, which is a set of instructions, okay, it is executed in each and every node. So that means if I have a playbook defined these tasks, okay, your automation will reach to each and every managed node, and one by one it is going to execute all these tasks in the sequence. It will first ping the servers if it's reachable or not. It is going to install the web server. It is going to start the services. You may have a you may need to copy your code. You need to modify certain configurations of the web server that you can also define in the code, and then you can do the validation, and then you can exit after all the steps are executed, right? So that means once your automation is placed with a single click of the playbook, we can do any kind of a task that is specifically related to the infrastructure in the Ansible, right? So this is very simple architecture of the Ansible, right? We have one control node, or you can say the main master node where we do the setup of Ansible, and after that we need to reach each and every managed node where we need to execute the task, right? One of the other dependency is along with your control node, you need to install Python in each and every node, right? Along with the Ansible, because Ansible is a Python based tool, right? And when we say that we are executing the playbook, which is reaching to each and every managed node for the execution, okay, so it SSH there, right? And then execute all the tasks there. Okay, so it is good to have, or not a good, it is mandatory, you can say, to install the Python and Ansible in your managed node as well. Okay, so this is about the your architecture of the Ansible, right? And we have discussed about the playbook, or what we define the playbook. We define the different kind of a instructions, right? And now let me tell you a few basic core components of the Ansible. When we say that we are executing the playbook and we are executing the informations task, okay, so there is standard structure of the playbook, okay, that we create. Okay, so this playbook, okay, this is a kind of a directory structure that we create. Okay, like this one. There would be some sub content inside that one. Okay, so first we create a project folder. This is our main project folder. Okay, if you're on Linux, you can just run the mkdir and then you can give a name for your project, whatever name you want to give. Now, once the project is created, okay, after that we have a basic structure of the playbook. Okay, that you need to understand, and for that I am going to post more videos in near future. Okay, so the basic component in the playbooks are, one is the inventory file. Inventory file. This inventory file contain the IP address or DNS of the machine or the managed node. So what we have learned in the architecture, you have a control node. It contact your each and every managed node where the automation need to be run. So how it is going to be connected to each and every machine? It should know about the IP address or DNS of the machines, right? So this we define in the inventory file. So whenever you run the playbook, it look for the inventory file and then it reach the corresponding nodes. This is the inventory file. Then we define the host. Okay. So this inventory file is called inside the host entry in the playbook. Then along with that, we have many more details like the task. Inside the task, we define the complete instructions, whatever the task we would like to execute. For example, install web server, then start services. These are the tasks that we define. Okay, then we define the variable. Okay, so variable are something that is specific to some environments. For example, we have a development environment, we have a production environment, we have a test environment. So there are a lot of parameters or the environmental variable. Those will be environment specific, right? So what we do to save our time and to reutilization of the code files, we create the standard code files just like templates. Okay, and then we create the environmental files, because the environmental variable will be different for each and every environment. And then inside this standard code file, we just call the parameters and the corresponding file will be ready for the environment, right? So that means reutilization of the code files by using the variables. Okay, so this is the variable. We define the different kind of a variables, right? And then we have the template, and this is the template what I was talking about, reutilization of the code. Okay, and along with that we have few more terms, roles, and then handlers, and then collections. These are the core component of your Ansible. If you really want to be expert of the Ansible, okay, then you need to understand the playbook structure first. And for playbook structure, you need to understand what is inventory file, how we create the inventory file, and what is the host definition, what is the relation between host and inventory file, how we create the different tasks, how we define the different kind of a variables, how we create the templates, and what are roles, handlers, and collections, and how we can use them. So these are the core component that you need to understand to be master of the Ansible. And in next subsequent sessions, I am going to create a few more sessions on all these component. Okay, and the meantime, in next few days or a couple of weeks of a time, our Ansible administration course is going to be launched in the Udemy as well. Okay, which will be the detailed course. Okay, and if you would like to join that, then you are open to join. Okay, once it is there, we will share the link and coupon code with all of you, and we'll publish it in our website as well. Thank you.